Hello and welcome to the Gooner Tool. Back again with you guys for another show, for another episode of our Raw Reaction series, our preview show in which we look ahead to the next Arsenal game and consider what we think Mikel Arteta might do, what we want him to do, and ultimately get very disappointed about what he's going to do. I'm very happy to be joined today by Vinnie, one of our expert members. How you doing, pal? You well?
Yeah, good, thank you. And yourself?
Yes, very good. It's gradually getting more nervous. I mean, last week it was nerves that kind of grew into confidence, but this time I am just nervous about the game tomorrow. It's hell on earth thinking about what could go down. How are you feeling about the fixture?
I'm a little bit more confident than last week with Tierney looking like he's back fit. I think hopefully we're going to have a decent shape of a team rather than playing Xhaka at left back. Not giving away too many clues about my team, but I think, yeah, a little bit more confident than last week. But it just depends if we turn up or not. We either do or we don't at the moment, and that's the problem.
What do you think about in regards to kind of the fallout from this game? If we were to just have an absolutely terrible performance once again and just peter out of the competition, the season ends on a horrific note, what are your kind of thoughts and feelings towards the managerial situation?
It's difficult. I'm normally an optimist, but like some of the decisions he made last game with his picking of his team were just outrageous, and the fact that we're 10th, 9th in the league is just not good enough. So
Yeah,
it's difficult. I do want to give him the summer, and I'm not going to be one shouting Arteta out. I'm not that sort of a fan, but it is frustrating, and he has done a lot of things which are questionable this year. But
yeah.
I do still believe he's a good manager, so it's difficult. I'm on the fence a little bit.
Are you worried in any way about Unai Emery knowing us and knowing the Emirates and knowing what it's like? And obviously, he put on a very good 45 against us in the first half. Second half, I thought was the exact reasons as to why we sacked him basically as a manager, and he allowed us to get back into the game and get that really important away goal. So does the Unai Emery factor, do you think, come into the minds of the players in this game, or is it just going to be very individually introverted and focused on what the job is?
I blame Arteta for the first half of the last game.
Yeah.
I think he just got the lineup completely wrong. I think our team at times are just not motivated when they go out at the start of games, and that's the biggest problem. I don't think it was an Emery masterclass. I think he was a horrific manager for us. Like I remember games the year before last that I wanted to cry in the stands that we were that bad because the players were just that poorly motivated, and there was just no shape to the team at all.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's down to him being a good manager. I think it's us beating ourselves at times.
I think it is a. I mean, Bellerin said it, didn't he? He was like, we don't lose to the opposition, we lose to ourselves, as you said there, and we just continuously make these mistakes. And dearie me, I just can't get my head around sometimes the persistence with kind of decisions that we don't really understand and get. I mean, one of those has been Granit Xhaka at left back, which we've seen quite a lot of. And in his press conference today, Arteta said that they've been playing him there to kind of acclimatise him, I suppose, to that position. But it's not worked. Like it might have worked against Sheffield United, against a team that don't really offer too much, and again against Newcastle didn't really offer too much going forwards. But when he was tested against Chukwueze, I thought he was done inside out so many times on that right hand side of theirs. So if say Tierney isn't fit, and obviously we'll come on to our lineups in a bit, but we have both picked Tierney in the hope that he's going to be fit. But say if he isn't, can you see Arteta changing it and not going with Xhaka? And two, what is the alternative?
That's what worries me. For me, you have to place Cedric there. I know Cedric isn't as good on that side of the pitch, but you're dealing with a player with pace, and you need a proper fullback to deal with a player with pace. It's difficult. And then if Xhaka's, well, actually, no, I would play Saka there. Sorry, I wouldn't play Cedric there.
Okay.
Because I think Saka's solid as a left back. I know we miss him going forward, but their biggest threat is on their right wing, and you have to counteract that. So play Saka there, and we've got decent attacking players like Martinelli and Pepe who can play on them wings instead.
Yeah, I think it is the most kind of sensible option to go, especially considering we've got so many options in our forward line to take out Saka and put a Martinelli or a Pepe, a Aubameyang, Lacazette. You've got all these players that can play in those positions. You can even put a Smith Rowe in the wide area with Erdegaard in the middle. So there are these options, and yet he has seemingly been stubborn to persist with them. We are without Ceballos, which is, weird that we
Right.
get a man sent off and we go, yes,
Mm.
we're without Ceballos. And if Xhaka, say, is to play at left back, and obviously you then got that hole to fill in the midfield, do you think El Neni's performance against Newcastle may have played his way into this game?
For me, Xhaka just shouldn't be left back at all, and
Yeah.
Xhaka needs to start in the midfield. But I wouldn't have a problem with Valnani playing in midfield, especially over Ceballos, because
Yeah.
he's reliable. He may not be the best player going forward at times, saying that he scored 2 screamers recently, but he doesn't do anything wrong. I know he's a little bit negative as a player, maybe, but he doesn't do anything wrong. And you're better having someone who can give you a 6, 7 out of 10, who's just going to do a job, than someone who's a liability.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. I don't look at El Nini as an error-prone player. Like, I'm not. He's not someone that like drops a ball or anything. It's ridiculous. Like when you look at Xhaka, or you look at Mustafi, you look at these guys that are error-prone. They do make big mistakes during games, and I don't look at El Nini as that guy. I don't think he offers you loads, but he's as solid as you say, 6 out of 10 each game. And the 4 points he's losing is nothing to do with being error-prone. It's just being too safe and kind of too average, I suppose, in the way he wants to play the game. Which in a game we need no mistakes, because we can't afford to concede during the game, because a goal for them means we have to score 2 in that case anyway, and that only takes it to extra time. So to go through, we've got to score at least 3 if they score. I feel that we have to win this by 2 goals anyway, no matter what happens. It's going to have to be a 2, even a 2-0 or a 3-1 or a 4-2. It's just so many kind of situations where Arsenal have kind of lit things up in this season. You look at the Slavia Prague away game, you look at West Brom, you even look at some of the goals against Newcastle. The team has the potential to absolutely light a fire and burst through a team and score quite a few goals. But then there's the displays like in the away leg against Villarreal, where it was completely dead and devoid of any kind of creativity. The Liverpool game at home, where they just absolutely dominated the entire game. Man City at home comes to mind as well. Is it just us fans? Do you think it is purely a lottery as to what Arsenal turns up tomorrow?
That's the problem. The Slavia Prague leg's the perfect example of that. If you watched the first game, we were horrific. We didn't turn up. The second game, we completely ripped them apart, and we were free flowing football. It was beautiful to watch. But that's the players we've got, and that's what they're capable of. We just need them to do it more often, especially them attacking free against teams which are not as good as us on paper. You should be tearing teams like Slavia Prague apart. And if we turn up and we play like we did in the second leg against Slavia, we'd destroy Villarreal. But it just depends which team turns up.
Yeah, let's have a look at kind of the decisions that we've gone for in regards to our teams, because there's a lot of decisions to be made, and we have made quite a few differences. We'll go to your team first. So talk us through your team selection.
So I've gone with Leno in goal. I know Leno has been a bit of a liability lately, but for me, it's very difficult to change a keeper, especially for such a big match. Your defence are used to playing with a goalkeeper, and it could have a morale impact on the team as well. So that's why I've gone for Leno. Chambers for me is our best right back at the moment. I think he's solid at the back, and he crosses the ball really well. Holding gives you a 7 out of 10 every game, as Janice tell you from our Discord chat.
Yeah.
Gabriel's our best centre back by far. I know the partnership may not be 100% there between him and Holding, but I trust Gabriel more as a centre half than I do Mari. I worry about Mari's positioning sometimes at times, and I think with Tierney back in the team, it will help Gabriel as well more, rather than playing with Xhaka. And Tierney obviously picks himself if he's fit. He's class, and we need him, especially against, I can't say the name of the right winger who you mentioned earlier, Chukwueze, who's a quality player, really good player with good feet, and we need a proper left back to sit up against him. Partey in midfield obviously picks himself, and then Xhaka for me, he's quality. When he plays in the position where he needs to play, he is quality, and his distribution out to the left hand side of the pitch is brilliant. Saka again picks himself. I'd go with Odegaard over Emil Smith Rowe. Although I love Emil Smith Rowe as a player, I think Odegaard is more consistent, and we're likely to get a better performance out of him. And Martinelli has been quality, and I think one of the main things he does is he tracks back and he works hard, and you could see that in the first leg. He really helped Xhaka out when he come on the pitch, and I think him and Tierney down that wing. I know Arteta said they need to build a relationship, but I think they work well together. Tierney goes round on the outside, and Martinelli likes to cut in, which you give Tierney room. I think that'll work well. And then Ober up top, he scored on the weekend. And if he can get some confidence and he can become clinical, he's the player who can win us games. And I think, as you said earlier on, I don't know if Lacazette is fit or not. So you've got to go with Aubameyang.
Yeah, I agree regarding Aubameyang. You'll see that from my lineup in just a second. That's what I've gone for. But I have made quite a few changes actually to what you've gone for there. There's a big shock in the team, which a lot of people will see. Kian will definitely appreciate it. I'll talk through that in a second. Ryan, I've chosen Ryan just because I think that we just need someone who's going to give the defence confidence in this game. I just get that feeling that the defence really are a little bit, I don't know what it is, but he just leaves them a little bit uncertain at the moment with his form and how confident they are, especially after the whole Richarlison situation. I know he's made some good saves, especially in the first leg against Gerard Moreno. That shot that could have made it 3-0 was a fantastic save. But Ryan played excellently in all of the games I feel he's played in so far. He's good with his distribution. He's good with his communication to his backline. And I think he just, for me, play the better keeper in form. I think Leno's the better keeper overall, but in terms of the situation, I feel more inclined to go with Ryan right now in the game. Now, I'll address the kind of the elephant in the room, or the small Spaniard in the room, being Hector Bellerin in my team. The reason why I've gone with Bellerin over Chambers is a very similar kind of situation as the Ryan pick. I thought Chambers was horrific against Villarreal last Thursday. I thought he was awful. I thought he was really negative, and we need someone who is going to get into the final third. Bellerin will do that. He will get forward. And I thought against Newcastle, there was a few opportunities where he did get up that right-hand side really well and was played in behind and put some decent crosses into the box. His cross obviously led to the chance that led to El Nenny's first goal. So we need that. And we need kind of that attacking side go, especially down the right. If Saka is to play there, if Saka's not going to play there, then you've got kind of the other option of saying either a Martinelli goes there or a Smith Rowe goes on the other side, or you play a Pepe on one side and Saka can move elsewhere. But I think Bellerin with Saka there, you've got the different changes of feet. You've got the left footer in Saka. That means Bellerin can overlap and can be kind of reverse balled inside. That's why I've gone for Bellerin. Go on.
I missed the first half of the Villarreal game, so I was in my Spanish lesson. I actually threw my laptop on the floor and swore a few times and exited the lesson. So I'm not doing Spanish this Thursday. I probably missed his bad first half. So I'll take your word for it.
I think the Chambers overall in the last kind of couple of months or so has clearly been the better right back and as who we'd usually pick. But because we need to score and we need to be more attacking, I just feel that Bellerin for this one is probably the right choice. I've not gone for Cedric, just he's not played in a long time. And that's why I can't trust Cedric. And also the last game he played, I think, was the Slavia Prague at home game where he did that awful giving the ball away right at the end of the game. So maybe a more experienced head in regards to, although he's younger, being in the Arsenal team and dealing with these types of situations, and Bellerin might be a better option there. Holding and Marie, I didn't go for Gabriel because I just can't trust that partnership. That Gabriel-Holding partnership is a little bit tricky to kind of really put faith in. They seem to be on different kind of wavelengths when they're played together, and whilst they're really good at kind of blocking oppositions, I just feel like Marie might give us that little bit more solidity than we need right now. Tierney, obviously, as we talked about, if he's fit, he plays. It's as simple as that. Xhaka and Partey needs to be the midfield pairing to give us kind of that added emphasis in the game. I've gone with Smith Rowe over Ødegaard myself because I like his energy. I like the way he drives, and I thought he wasn't that great against Newcastle, Ødegaard. I thought he was very passive in that game and wasn't really, he was a bit of a passenger in the game against Newcastle, and maybe Emile Smith Rowe was obviously being rested for that game, can come in and really give what we need him to be. I think Martinelli deserves the start after the game against Newcastle. I think that his energy is what we need. His attitude is what we need in this game to drag and inspire this team to kind of really appreciate what he can do going forwards. And if it's not Martinelli, it would be Pepe. And a few people in the chat I know have said, where's Pepe? I think Pepe, for me, I don't want to see him on the right. If Tierney isn't fit, then Saka probably goes to the left-hand side in the left-back position, and Pepe comes in on a right-hand side, right wing maybe, or Martinelli swaps over. That's the only situation with me, is that I want to see Martinelli in this team. And yeah, I really just want to see him being that guy that emphasises what we're about, the energy, inspires the rest of the side. Aubameyang plays up front because Lacazette's not fit. I think if Lacazette was fully fit, I'd go with Lacazette there, which I think tells a big story about Aubameyang's season, to be honest. But he did score, as you said, Vinny, at the weekend. So hopefully he can kind of take that form into the game as well. So that's our two teams. Based upon seeing kind of those differences of choices and stuff, is there any kind of differences in opinion there, or any changes you might make, or are you still very set with your side?
I'm like, the changes you made, I'd be happy with as well, as long as the core of the team's great. Emile Smith-Rowe and Odegaard, you switch them around, it doesn't really. I'd still be happy. Same as if Pepe played instead of Martinelli, it wouldn't bother me too much. As long as he doesn't play bloody Xhaka at left back, I'll be happy. And he can't play Ceballos either in the midfield, and he doesn't play Willian. I'd be happy. But for me, a lot of them players are interchangeable, and as long as it's all about if we turn up or not, and that's what it's about. The players need to be motivated, and they need to go out there and they need to get a result, and it's all on them. And Arteta needs to get them motivated as well.
I think that the biggest thing is going to be the attitude tomorrow, because if we start the game like we did on last Thursday, then I don't think we've got a hope in hell of getting back into it. If we concede, if we're the first team to concede, it's going to leave us in a situation where they know that we have to attack them. They can sit back. But if we score first and have the upper hand, and at that point we're going through with a 1-0 lead, they are going to be more expressive. They're going to need to come out and try and score, which could tactically open the game up a lot. And that is where we're going to have to take it to the fore. It's really important that we score. It's important that we score, I feel, early in the game, just to settle those nerves and build that confidence and assurance in the team, and obviously build on that. We get to the point of the show where we do get two predictions. So chat box, this is your chance to be throwing those predictions in. I know you've had a lot to say in regards to some of our lineups. If you're watching on playback, please make sure you leave your thoughts and comments about how you feel that we should be lining up in this game, as well as dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. But Vinny, predictions, scorers and a scoreline, what are you going for?
3-1 Arsenal, holding the score 1 for Janice. And and 2 from Oba. I reckon Oba's going to pull it out this game. I reckon he's going to finally find his form with 2 games to go that matter.
Yeah, I would. If it is the case where again he drags us to another trophy, you've got to hold your hands up and say, give him another 3-year contract. That's what we want to bank it on right now. I'm agreeing with a 2-0 kind of a 2-goal win. I'm going to go 2-0. I think we're going to hold it. I think it's going to be a confident display. I thought it was going to be 3-0 last time and we lost 2-1. So don't take anything I say as gospel. But I'm going to go with a 2-0. I'd love Martinelli to pop up with the second, probably a little bit later on in the game. And, you know, it'd be hilarious if Bellerin scored one from distance. So let's go with that. That would really throw the cat amongst the pigeons. In the chat box, what are we saying in regards to your predictions, guys? Alpha says, I see the game finishing 3-1 to us. Agreeing with you there, Vinny. Yonit Mac, the ever-present positive force in our chat, says 2-2. Jashar says 2-2 as well. T. Irving says 4-1 to the Arsenal. Light work. And Scar says, Arteta to start a false goalkeeper in Xhaka with him scoring the only goal. Well, that is some prediction. I doubt that you'll get any money for putting anything on that, mate. But you go for whatever you like. Emmanuel says Villarreal are going to win on away goals. Begin the insurrection. Javier says 1-1. Wilson says 3-1 Arsenal. And Ron Stone says 3-1 in extra time. I don't think I could deal with extra time in a semi-final that is so important. It's going to be a real tough one. It's going to be, as Steve Stone says, it's going to be nail-biting, 3-1 hanging on by the skin of our teeth in the last 10 minutes. Indanil says 2-1 extra time and we win on penalties. Christ, if it couldn't get any worse for the nerves, that would be even worse for us. Vinny, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the preview show, as always, fella. Tell people where they can find you on the socials.
Thank you very much. Instagram, the sexy bald man, as you can see. But yeah, I don't really use Twitter and stuff like that. But yeah, Insta.
There you go. And obviously you can find Vinny also in the Discord server along with all of our other expert members and TGT ambassadors. And if you'd like to join me for one of these shows like Vinny is now, you just sign up as one of our expert members and we open the floor up on our previous shows. And of course, for some of the podcasts, you saw Pablo and Jared and Owen and the like coming on podcasts throughout the season as well. So make sure you sign up and show the channel some support as we go through and make it as much as we can. Make sure you check out our transfer video from earlier on today. We're doing it every morning at 8 a.m., which is to Vinny's criticisms of myself. Doesn't understand how I'm doing it, but I am. It's commitment is what it is.
Look at that. Too early. In the morning, mate.
But there's a few in the comment section saying about how long they expect it's going to go on for. Someone gave me 2 weeks. So if I get to 15 days, it's already a success. So that's what we're aiming for. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., as I said, but also we'll be back straight after the game as well. I'm also hoping to release a tactical breakdown about 3 p.m. UK time-ish tomorrow as well. So make sure you keep that notification bell turned on so you're letting yourself know if there are any shows dropping, of course. We'll be back very soon. It's been a pleasure to speak to you as always, and as always, up the Arsenal.